Alright guys, welcome to another edition of our Zera Shimshon, Baruch Hashem. I hear that some people have already learned this. Zera Shimshon is a very juicy one, but it's okay. Chazara is always good. Repetition and review is the name of the game. So we're going to learn Parashat Vayetze. The Zera Shimshon is going to talk about the naming of the Shivatim, in this week's Parashat, specifically the naming of Yehuda. There's a song that's going around that started a movement called the Thank You Hashem movement. You see it everywhere. You see it on the bumper stickers. We even have a button here. Baruch Hashem, you press the button every day after Shachrit in the House of Torah. You hear Thank You Hashem. Like the kids love the song. It's a very simple but yet powerful song. And one of the lyrics in that song is Hapam Odeh et Hashem. Hapam Odeh et Hashem. Right? You know so? So these lyrics comes from this week's parasha. This is what Leah Imenu said when she named her fourth son Yehuda. She said, Apam Odet Hashem. This time I'm going to thank Hashem. And all the Mefarshim jump on this pasuk and they say, what do you mean Leah this time? Hapam. Everything in the Torah is specific, which means that there's a specific description about something. It means this and only this and not another time. Which means when Leah says, Apam Odeh Hashem, this time I'm going to take Hashem, she means this time and not the previous times. All the Mefarshim ask, why did she have to wait for the fourth son, for Yehuda, to thank Hashem? Says the Zera Shimshon. I didn't check it in there, but it might be Yudalid. Check it, Drush Yudalid. And Vayetze. Pasuk Apam Odeh Hashem says the Midrash Haba. There's a Midrash that says the following. Rabbi Berecha b'shem Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Berecha said in the name of Rabbi Levi the following: LeKohen she'arad legorin. This is comparable to a mashal to a kohen who came down to the goren, which is where they're collecting all the wheat. Natan lo achad kor shel maaser. One person gave to this kohen a kor. The kor means a big pile. He gave him a huge pile of maaser. What does it mean maaser? Here says the Biorim. It means the teruma. We have a mitzvah of teruma. All the Israelites, right? Not Kohen al Levi. Israel, they have a mitzvah of teruma to give to the kohen. That means a percentage of their produce that they produce every year. They have to give to the kohen, to whatever kohen they choose. The percentage is there's no solid number of how much it has to be. But it's the first thing that you separate. Bet Hillel famously says the recommended amount is 2%. Bet Shammai says the recommended amount is 2.5%.
You give it to a few kohanim?
Yeah, as long as you give your 2% or whatever it is.
But there's also, you cannot have any personal benefit from it.
So so you did it. This is it. So let's try to explain. So he says the Kohen goes down, and one Israel gives him a big pile of tevuah, of wheat. Natan lo echad kor shel maaser velo echzik lo tova, and the Kohen didn't say thank you to him. Moved on. Natan lo echad kometz shel chulin. Then another guy gave to this Kohen a kometz of chulin. What's kometz? Kometz means a handful. In Hebrew, every finger has a name. Right? Each one has a name. The ring finger is called kemitzah. Right? So kometz means literally, if you were to take flour like this and leave your pinky open, that's how they used to do it, right? There's a special mitzvah, you have to put a certain amount of flour and certain sacrifices to burn the mizbeach. It has to be kemitzah. For the mincha offerings, the kohen has to take a kometz. So he takes it like this from your flour, like this, dafka like this. So this guy gave him a handful of wheat. What happened? The kohen says, thank you very much, tzaddik, thank you. Amar lo, the guy said to him, Adoni HaKohen, Mr. Kohen, Ani natati lecha kor. I gave you a big pile, huge pile, 20 times, 30 times more than what this guy gave you, of produce. V'zeh lo natan lecha ele kometz. But this guy over here only gave you a handful. Ve'ata machazik lo tova, and you're saying thank you to him and not to me? What gives? What's going on over here? Amar lo, the Kohen answers him, Ata natata li mechelki. You who gave me the cord, gave me the pile, you gave me what was coming to me anyway. You gave me what you owe me. You gave it to me as a mitzvah to fulfill your obligation of terumah. That's what you did. But this guy with the handful, Natan li mishelo, he gave it to me from his own goodwill, from his own heart. He didn't have to give it to me. Lefichach, therefore, ani machazik lo tova, I am thanking him dafka, and not you. Kach, so too says the Midrash, applies to Leah. Lefi shayu ha'imahot sovrot, shezo yoledet shelosha, vezo yoledet shelosha. Because the four mothers, they were prophets to a certain degree. They were prophets, but it says the Rashi over there also explains in his Perush, based on this Midrashim, that they knew that Yaakov was destined to have specifically 12 boys, 12 Shevatim, 12 heads of tribes. And they did the math, simple math. There's 4 of us, 12 tribes are destined to come. That means there has to be 3 each, right? 3 for me, 3 for her, 3 for her. That's the fair way to do it. But once Leah already had her first 3 sons, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, now all of a sudden she has Yehudah. Now she got more than what was due to her. 4 is more than 3. At that point, Amra hapa'am odet Hashem. This time I'm going to thank Hashem. For Yehudah, I'm going to thank Hashem. And of course, you know his name, Yehudah, comes from the word Hoda'ah, to thank, to admit. His whole name is thanks.
You remove the Dalet, you have Hashem.
Not only that, exactly, you remove the Dalet from Yehudah's name, you have Yud Kei Vav Kei. All of Hashem's letters are in his name. So the whole thing is here, Odet Hashem, I will thank Hashem. Yehudah is exactly that permutation. Beseder. Now, the Zera Shimshon asks the question, Yesh Ledagdek, you should be precise here. He says, Mat Tzorich Lehavi HaMashal. What's the whole point of giving me the example of the Kohen situation with the kor, and the other guy gave him the handful, the komets? Doesn't make sense. Just tell me they were supposed to get 3 each. She got a 4th one, she thanked him. She got more than what was deserved, what was coming to her. So therefore, I understand already from that. Why give me the whole mashal of the Kohen? Why is it necessary? It's understood by itself. Furthermore, man mochach shezo hakohen asatov. Who says that this Kohen did the right thing? That he thanked the guy who gave him a handful and didn't thank the guy who gave him a big pile. Who says he did the right thing? Maybe he's wrong. Dilma lo tov asa. Maybe he did wrong. Shelo yechzik lo tova shehagam shematzinu b'divrei Rambam perek yudbet menachot terumah. He brings a proof from the Rambam. The Rambam writes on Halachot Terumah, this topic, the following: Haba'alim she'amru l'kohen helecha chelek zeh betovat hana'ah. If somebody came, Israel came to a Kohen, and he says, here is your portion, here's the Terumah, and I'm giving it to you in order that you should recognize me, you should thank me, you owe me a favor. I mean, when I call you tomorrow to help me out moving my furniture, I'm expecting you to say yes. Right? If he does that, harei ze asur. This is asur, says Rambam. You're not allowed to do that. When you're coming to give your obligation of Terumah to the Kohen, you can't say, listen, I gave it to you, I could have given it to somebody else. I gave it to you, tomorrow I'm moving. If you don't mind, do me a solid. You know what I mean? You can't do that, says Rambam. So therefore, if shar lomar she'ba'alim en lehem liten hamatanot lakohen betovat hana'ah. It's possible to say that the owners, the Israel, they shouldn't give gifts to the Kohen in exchange for a favor or thanks. Aval HaKohen, but maybe the Kohen, im yachazik lo tova, if he went ahead and said thank you to him, maybe it's praiseworthy. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe he should do that.
Maybe to somebody else.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, the Israel could have chosen a different Kohen, but he chose you to give you the Terumah. Therefore, you should at least say thank you. Maybe, meaning it's not asur, but it's praiseworthy, recommended. And you have to assume this, says the Zera Shimshon, that of course we recommend the Kohen should say thank you. Because the Rambam has another halakha over there in that same place. Halakha Tedvav says over here the following: Shetovat hana'ah le'ba'alim. So on the bottom here I have the actual Rambam. It says the following: Aval ba'alim she'amru. Rambam says, Aval ba'alim she'amru le'kohen o le'levi. If the Yisrael gives the Terumah to the Kohen and accepts something back, that's asur. וכן אסור לעשות סחורה בתרומות אף על פי שהוא לוקח מכהן ומחל לכהן. That's not the one I'm looking for.
He doesn't know where the one when he says,
here, I got it.
to give it to you gives me pleasure. I want you to have it.
We didn't get there yet. He's going to say that soon. But here, this is what the Rambam says further in the next halakha. ואם לקח שלא מדעת בעלים זכה בהן, שאין לבעלים מהן אלא טובת הנאה, וטובת הנאה אינה ממון. Which means, it says bottom line, that the person who gives it to Rumat Kohen, what's owed to him, or what he gets from it, is the Tovat Hana'ah. He gets a pleasure for the fact that he gives it to him. He gets a pleasure for the fact that he gives it to Kohen himself and makes him happy. And also maybe he expects something back in the future as a favor. Which means, bottom line, the Rambam says that it's proper, that he implies from here that the Kohen should say thank you, should be appreciative. Fine. Next he says, V'yesh lomar, he can answer the question the following way. She'ba'al midrash hergish al pasuk leka'amar apam odeh Hashem demashma apam hazot davka odeh. That the midrash senses that there's something wrong when Leah says, this time I'm going to thank Hashem and not another time. Ma she'en ken bebanim herushanim, she didn't thank Hashem the first three sons. V'ha gam ha'alehem hayta chayvet lehodot lekadosh baruch hu. Even on them she should have said thank you as well. Everything is a miracle. Every child is a miracle. K'mo shepasak Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim. Why? There's even a halakha. There's a halakha, most people don't know. In the Shulchan Aruch, it's brought down. Siman Resh Chav Gimel over there, Sif Aleph. It says the following: Mi sheyalada yishto zachar. If your wife gave birth to a son, mevarech hatov v'ametiv. You have to say the baracha of hatov v'ametiv. Hashem is good and He does good. Special baracha. There's special situations when this baracha is said. Usually, when multiple people are benefited from something, this baracha takes effect. Hatov v'ametiv. You say it after the son is born. After the son is born, you find out the son is born. Hatov v'ametiv. This I don't know. I don't know what the deadline is. Perhaps I don't know. This I have to look into. But bottom line, that's the halacha. V'gam hi tzricha levarech ken. And also says the Shulchan Aruch, she also has to say this baracha hatov v'ametiv. Specifically on a son.
It can only be said two or more.
Yes, because the whole point is that herself, and her husband are getting benefit from this child. It's going to bring them a legacy. It's going to help them when they're old. So they get benefit from the child. They get pleasure, and that's why you say hatov v'ametiv. But only for a boy, not for a girl. Why? Look in the Shulchan Aruch. Without going into it. And you have to say, so therefore you will see the bottom line, for every child, Leah should have said thank you. Some form of thank you. For Reuven, for Shimon, for Levi. Why all of a sudden when Yehuda was born only for him? She said thank you? No, chas v'shalom. Why? But tzarich lomar, you have to say, shekavanat Leah hayta, Leah's kavanah, her intent was, bishlama b'sh'ar ha'pa'amim lo haya chiyuv mutal alai b'frat lehodot laHashem. That in the first few times there wasn't a specific chiyuv, specific obligation for me to thank Hashem personally by myself. Rather, in the first three sons, both my husband and myself had to say thank you. Meaning they both had to say the baracha hatov v'ametiv. Right? Omnam, nevertheless, this time when Yehuda was born, chiyuv ha'hoda'a peratit mutal alai davka. There's an extra reason for me to say thank you, and not for my husband. Why? Because my husband's going to have 12 kids, fine, 12 sons, we know that. But me, mathematically, I should have only had 3. Now that I have a 4th one, it's a special extra thing for me. And that's the reason why she says that this time I'm going to say special thanks to Hashem. Ach kashe. Still, says Zera Shimshon, that's not a good enough answer. It's still difficult. Because this is also not good enough. שהואיל שאף יעקב מחויב להודות בשביל לידת זה הבן, ואף היא מחויבת להודות עמו ככל שאר הבנים. Because bottom line, when Yehuda was born, just like any other boy, both the husband and the wife, Yaakov and Leah, were obligated to say the baracha hatov v'ametiv. It's not like only she's saying hatov v'ametiv, now she got the 4th son, and Yaakov was not. Yaakov is also. So they're sharing in that. So it's not good enough reason for her to make this one special. So he's going to change the answer. Because when she says, this time I'm going to thank him, it sounds like there's something special for her. But here, hatov v'ametiv is not special for her because he's also saying it on Yehuda. He has to say it on every son. And that's why you need the Kohen. That's why you need the mashal, the midrash brought by the Kohen, because it illustrates more the reason why that one is special. Why? And it's explained the following. שבוודאי הכהן מחזיק טובה לבעל הבית, שנתן לו כל אחד של מעשה, ולא נתנו לכהן אחר, כמו שכתב בערוך בערך כתב. That for sure, when the Kohen gets the big pile of terumah from the guy, for sure he owes him a thank you. And the Aruch also, in his explanation of the Gemara, says that he owes him a thank you. Ela rather, שלמי שנותן לקומץ אחד של חולין, for the other guy who gave him not truma, he didn't give him truma, he gave him a gift. Chulin means mundane, not special, separated holy food. So regular food. He gave him as a gift a small amount. Machazik lo tova yoter gedola. The Kohen owes him a bigger thank you. Meaning for the first guy who fulfilled his obligation of truma, for sure he owes him a thank you. But for this guy who went beyond what he was expected to do, he owes him a bigger thank you. עד שהטובת הנאה שהיה מחזיק לבעל הבית אינה כלום. So much so that whatever thank you he gave to the first guy who gave him truma is nothing, meaning in comparison to the thanks that he owes the other guy. אינה כלום לגבי טובת הנאה שמחזיק לו שנתן לו משלו דווקא שהיא מתנה גמורה, because that's a complete gift. ובעלמא אמרינן, and we say in general, the Gemara says Megillah, matana kizvine dame, that giving a gift is like a transaction. It's considered a certain sale or a transaction. A transfer of ownership legally, halachically, is taking place. There's one opinion in the Gemara that says that I'm not going to give you a gift unless I expect something back from you. Either a favor, or unless I get a certain, or just the pleasure itself. The pleasure of me giving it to you, knowing that I gave it to you, is a certain pleasure that I experience. Right? So, there's no such thing as a complete gift, almost. Complete, unconditional gift is very hard to find, very rare. What does that mean? That's what chesed is, by the way. That's the deep understanding of what a chesed is. In the deeper wisdom, that's how they explain chesed. It's this whole spirah of chesed. Chesed is when one party completely gives endlessly and unconditionally to another party, which means I don't expect anything back from you, and I don't even feel necessarily good myself in my heart that I gave it to you. Why? Because that drop is a little benefit that I'm getting to myself. That good feeling that I gave to you, that's still something you put in your pocket. That's yours. It's not his. It's yours. So you got something for the gift. The ultimate level chesed gift is I'm giving to you simply and purely because I want you to have it, not because I want anything for myself. Right? That's what Hashem does. That's what Hashem gives. Right. That's also why, as a side point, there's halakha. Are you allowed to give a gift to a goy? Because there is a pasuk in the Torah that says, "Lo techonem, lo techonem." And this is interpreted in many different ways. One of them is that you're not allowed to give grace, meaning grace. That's how they translate chen, from the word chen. You cannot give chen, grace, to another goy. What? Techonem? It means don't. There's two different interpretations. One of them is you cannot give them a gift. Matanat chinam. Inside chonem, lo techonem, the word chinam is there, free. Don't give them a free gift. You're not allowed. So now the question comes up, what if I live in a building and I have a super and he comes to my house, fixes my stuff all the time, and there's the minhag is at the end of the year, not for his holiday, not around the last week of December, do it several weeks before just so he knows it's not going to, for Chanukah, can I give him, bonuses they give him, as they say. So one Talmid Chacham told me that it's fine. I asked him, what about Lo Techonem? It's a gift, free gift, I can't give it to him. He said, no. This is Gemara Masechet Megillah, I just read it. It says that stam gifts, most gifts work in the following way. It's a business transaction. When I give you a gift or a tip, I'm expecting you to reciprocate somehow, right? When I call you at 10 p.m. saying my heater doesn't work, I expect you to come fix it, right? It's
basically greasing him.
Right, exactly, but it's implied, and therefore it's more of a business transaction. It's not considered a free gift. So it doesn't fall under that prohibition of lo techonem.
Give and take.
It's allowed, yeah.
Give and take.
Exactly, because I'm expecting something back. Right? It's not. בסדר. והחינם, same thing over here says Zera Shimshon, התודה שהייתה חייבת ליתן עם בעלה בשביל לידת הבן, the thanks that she had to give along with her husband for the birth of the son, אינה כלום לגבי התודה שהיא מחויבת ליתן בשביל ההנאה הפרטית שיש לה בלידת זה הבן. Is nothing compared to the thanks that she has specifically for this fourth son being born. Meaning, yes, she has to give a basic thanks, a basic level thanks that Hashem gave me a child. But this is an extra thanks that she's giving, that Hashem gave me, that He was the guy who gave the the handful of regular food as a gift to the Kohen. He didn't have to. Hashem didn't have to give me this Yehuda. She could have given it to Rachel, one of the other shfachot. I already had 3 sons. Didn't have to give it to me. But he went beyond, and he gave me something extra. For that, I give an extra thanks. That's why there's a special pasuk where she says, "Apam oderet Hashem." For this, I will explicitly, outright thank Hashem. We learn from this, nevertheless, says Zera Shimshon, שאף על פי שבעל הבית זה בנתינת המעשר לא עשה אלא חובת המצווה המוטלת עליו. מכל מקום, בקיום המצווה הזוכה נמה בה שהכהן יחזיק לו טובה מעצמו. So he says we learn a general rule that in general, if somebody does what he's expected to do, does any mitzvah, he deserves to get a thanks. Which means, what do we say? Because this is how the Zera Shimshon settled the midrash. That the first guy who gave terumah, he said he got a thanks, for sure, basic thanks. But the other guy got an extra special thanks. But the point is, nevertheless, that if a person does what he's supposed to do, what he's commanded to do, he deserves a level of appreciation, of thanks. From this you can understand, this is Masechet Shabbat, Daf Samech Gimel, the following, Amar Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina says, Kol ha'oseh mitzvah kema amarah. Anybody who does a mitzvah according to its ma'amar means like a statement, according to how it was said. Anybody who says a mitzvah, who does a mitzvah, according to how it was said, en mevasirin oto besorot tovot. He will not receive bad news. Bad tidings. He will not receive. I'm sorry, I said tovot? Chas v'shalom. I meant ra'ot. One more time. Kol ha'oseh mitzvah k'ma'amarah. אין מבשרים אותו בשורות רעות. בוודאי שבשורות טובות מבשרים אותו. Bad news he doesn't get. Why? דקשה. He asks on this Gemara, he says it's not clear. מה העניין זה לזה? What's the connection of doing mitzvah like it was said versus not receiving bad news? ומהו כמאמרה? And second, question number 2 in this Gemara. Why does it say doing a mitzvah כמאמרה, according to how it was said? Say doing a mitzvah. According to the halakha, according to the proper way, or just doing the mitzvah. Why dafke kema amara? What does this extra word come to tell me? That you did the mitzvah as it was said. What does it mean? Based on what we said, it all comes out good. Why? That just as we saw by the midrash with the kohen, that if somebody does his mitzvah of terumah, of giving to the kohen, he deserves a little thank you, appreciation from the kohen. כך מי שמקיים שאר מצוות, so too anybody who does any mitzvah, צריך שהקדוש ברוך הוא כביכול יחזיק לו איזה טובה. Hashem owes him a certain debt of gratitude. Hashem כביכול owes him a thank you to an extent. Why? דמאי שאינה מצווה זו משאר מצוות. What's the difference between תרומה versus any other mitzvah? וכן בפירוש בפרק ח' דיומא. And he says there's a Gemara on Yomah that says it straight out. דף פ' ו' עמוד ב' says in מסכת יומא. B'mitzvat teshuvah, regarding the mitzvah of teshuvah, returning to Hashem, of repentance. Adam over avera mitpayes memenu b'devarim, v'lo od ele shemachazakim lo tova. I'll tell you the whole Gemara. It says in the bottom, you don't have it all there, but I have it over here on the bottom. The Gemara says like this: Bo r'eh shelo ki midat hakadosh baruch hu midat basar v'adam. Come and see how Hashem's behavior is not like human behavior. Why? Midat basar v'adam, human behavior, maknit et chavero b'devarim, safek mitpayes hemenu, safek en mitpayes hemenu. If somebody has a verbal argument with his friend, you don't know if his friend is going to forgive him. Maybe he's going to forgive him, maybe not. And if you want to say he is going to forgive him, safek mitpayes b'devarim, safek en mitpayes b'devarim. Maybe he's going to get appeased just by speaking to him, saying I'm sorry, or maybe it's not going to be enough. Maybe he's going to want more. Maybe you have to bribe him a little bit. When it comes to Hashem, it's different. Adam over avera beseter. A person does a sin against God's will in private, for example. Hashem is appeased, meaning He forgives him just through words. All you have to do is words. What words? Teshuvah we're talking about. Make teshuvah. Shneimar, as it says in the prophet Hosea, take with you words, v'shuv el Hashem, and come back to Hashem. Which was all you need to come back to Hashem. Think about it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the creator of the universe, commanded you to do X or to not do X. He gave you His will. He gave you His instruction. And you in your chutzpah, say, you know what, Hashem, all due respect, I want to do it anyway. And you do it, you follow the Yetzer Hara, whatever the reason is, the desires come over you. And then Hashem says, fine, all you need now is your words. Come back to me. Admit that you were wrong and admit that you want to do better and plan to do better. That's all you need. You don't have to pay me. You don't have to lose anything. All you have to do is say a few words and I accept you. It's easy. Then the end of the pasuk says, "V'kach tov," and take good. I mean, take the good with your words. Beseder. Back in the Zera Shimshon. V'inyan ha'chazakat tova zo, and regarding this giving thanks of when a person does mitzvah, Hashem owes him thanks, so to speak. He mishum darminan, because it says in Sifri, "Nachat ruach lefanai she'amarti v'na'asa rutoni." It gives me a lot of nachat, says Hashem, when I say something, she'amarti, when I say something, and my will was performed, as I said it. And mishum hachi, that's why our Gemara Masechet Shabbat, the original question was on that. Why does it say that anyone does mitzvah kima amara, according to how it was said? That's why it says kima amara, diyak lama kima amara, because it says it's according to how Hashem said it. You brought him nachat ruach by doing it. V'lachen, therefore, midah keneged midah. Everything is midah keneged midah, measure for measure. Just as you fulfilled Hashem's will according to how He said it, so too, bad tidings will never be said to you. Connection of the words. בהפך הנחת רוח, הראוי לו לפי מעשיו, ומקום שכן, נמי שמי שיטרח באיזו מצווה, yoter ala chova amutelet alai. But all the more so it says somebody who does a mitzvah more than what he's expected to do. He goes beyond the letter of the law, zeh liva anveu style, kedei lehader ota, to make a very high level mitzvah. Min hashamam yachazik ulo tova yoter merubeh. He'll get even greater thanks from Shamayim. Obviously. Good. A few more pieces and we're done here. Making good time. Uvederech zeh yuvan pasuk. Raglei chasidav yishmor. He says with this you can understand the pasuk in Shmuel. It says Raglei chasidav yishmor. Hashem will guard the legs of his chasidim. What does it mean chasidim? Chasidim doesn't mean people who live in Brooklyn. Chasidim means chasid. There's plenty of chasidim there, but chasid in the Lashon Torah means somebody who goes beyond the letter of the law of what is expected from him, from minadin. Meaning a tzaddik does the law. He performs the law as is written. A chassid goes beyond the letter of the law. He does more. He wants to put himself very far from that line of maybe I did a mitzvah, maybe I did a avera. Puts himself very far from that. For sure, I'm on the right side. Fine. So those people, their legs Hashem guards, says Shmuel in the pasuk. The lama nakat dafka raglaim. Why does this pasuk specify the legs? Asks the Zera Shimshon. V'shtama, you can answer. It says a very amazing Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Pay attention. The following. He only brings a shorthand. I'm going to bring the whole Mishnah on the bottom. It says the following. Arba midot beorchei lebet midrash. There are 4 types of people who go to learn in Bet Midrash. 4 types of people. Number 1, holech ve'eno oseh. Someone who goes to learn, but he doesn't perform the mitzvah. Explanation is holech lebet midrash ve'eno mevin et lemud. Why? Because he doesn't understand. He goes there, he makes an effort to come. Chazak Baruch. When he gets there, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He doesn't understand, and he is therefore not able to transfer it into his life, to apply it in his life. That's number 1. Second guy. For this first guy, what does he get? The Mishnah says, "Schar elicha biyado." He has the schar, the reward of walking. The fact that he picked himself up and brought himself to Bet Midrash, gets a reward for that. It's an effort. Second guy, oseh ve'eno holech. He performs mitzvot, but he doesn't go to learn. What does that mean? Lomed bebeto, bebet midrash shebebeto. He learns at home. Doesn't come to the Bet Midrash to clarify, which is not the best thing to do, because when you're in a group and you come to people who are greater than you, they're able to fix you where you understood something wrong. It's very important. But this guy, he performs the mitzvot according to how he understands them. He learns at home. What does he get? Schar ma'aseh biyado. He gets the reward for doing mitzvot. Whatever mitzvot he understood correctly at home and he did it right, he gets reward for doing those mitzvot. Good. The next one is Oseh ve'ino holech. You said this one. Next one is holech ve'oseh. Someone who goes to Bet Midrash and he does the mitzvot properly. What is that called? Chassid. That's called a chassid Bet Midrash. That's someone beyond the letter of the law. That's top level. And the last guy is lo holech ve'lo oseh. Doesn't go and he doesn't perform. Lo holech Bet Midrash ve'af eno, meaning he doesn't even learn at home. He doesn't even learn at home. And what is this kind of person called? Rasha. That's a wicked person. He doesn't go to learn, doesn't learn at home, doesn't know what he's doing, wasting his life. That's a Rasha. Fine. Zera Shimshon says back over here, Holech v'oseh, the person who goes to learn and performs mitzvot, he's called Chassid, which is what the pasuk in Shmuel said Chasidav. It's talking about the Chasidim. דבוודאי הכה, מה ילי שהיה יכול ללמוד בתוך ביתו עם הרבה החברים, כמו שהוא עושה בבית המדרש, שאם בבית היחידי לא ייתכן לומר בו חסיד שמשמעו עושה לפנים בשעת הדין, שהרי כך חובתו וכך יפה לו ללך למקום הוועד, ולפי שעושה דבר יותר על חובתו, הוא מחייב כביכול הקדוש ברוך הוא לשמור לו רגליו שהלך בהם לדבר מצווה. So which means he explains the mission the following. The third guy who's holech ve'oseh goes to the midrash and he performs. Why is he called Chassid? Chassid means you're doing something extra. What extra did he do? He's saying it must be the extra that he did is that he had the capability to invite everybody from the Beit Midrash, all the Talmidei Chachamim, to his house if he wanted. And they would come if he called them. But he decided to go to the holy place, to the place where the Shekhinah is more present, in the Midrash. He got up and walked over there. That was extra. He didn't have to do that. Because everything he got in the Beit Midrash, with the people, he could have organized in his house. But he didn't. He chose to get up and go.
It was who asked for it.
It was exactly. It's a special place where the people come. A special place that's designated. Yes, designated for the learning in Beit Midrash. So for the reward that he for the effort that he got up and went there out of his way, for that he's the Chassid. He did extra. He did extra than what he was supposed to do. What he had to do. בסדר. הוא מחייב כביכול הקדוש ברוך הוא לשמוע, and therefore he, by doing that, it explains the pasuk, because the pasuk says in Shmuel that Hashem guards the Chasidim's legs, their feet. Why? Because he got up with his feet and walked to the Beit Midrash when he didn't have to. He could have established it at home, and therefore that's why he forces quote unquote Hashem to protect him in that action and make sure nothing bad happens to him when he goes and walks to the Beit Midrash. וזוהו כוונת רבותינו ז"ל בפרק כמה דברכות. There's a very amazing Gemara as well connected to this in Masechet Berachot. It says the following: Daf Vav Amud Bet. What Rashi says over there is very scary, and it could be problematic. It could be very problematic to a lot of people who show up. But the Zera Shimshon is going to give you, Baruch Hashem, God bless me, he's going to interpret the Gemara in a way that really helps people. So look what he says. The Gemara says in Masechet Berachot, Daf Vav Amud Bet, Igra de Pirka Rihata. The reward a person gets for going to Pirka is a Shiur Torah, is Rihata, the running. The running. I mean, the fact that he got up and ran over there, he showed that he's really excited to go. Extra effort, that's the reward he gets. That's it, says Gemara. For the learning, doesn't get a reward. What? This is very scary. Look at Rashi explains. Rashi says over there, you don't have it in the Zera Shimshon, I'll just tell you outside. But look, okay, why doesn't the Gemara say that he gets reward for learning? It says the reward for going to running to a shiur. Hold on.
You run back and forth and that's it, you finish. You got schar.
Exactly, do a little jogging and that's it. I showed up. But why? Rashi says, Ikar kabbalat haschar, the main reward received, shel ha'am, of regular people, haratzim lishmo drasha mepi chacham, who run to shul to hear the drasha from the mouth of the chacham, Hu al merutzat haraglaim. The reward he gets is the effort he put for running with his feet. He could have walked. He ran. Extra effort. Why? Because most people, it says, you know, they don't understand what's flying. They don't understand what the Chacham is saying. They're not on his level. They can't. Chacham is speaking Torah. They're in one ear out the other. They don't have the whole lashon of Rashi here, but he says over there, if you open it up further, that he implies that the way to get the reward for learning Torah when you come to shiur to learn Torah, the way to earn that reward is if you're able to re-say it. If you remember it and able to re-say it. That's how you put in your pocket, according to Rashi, that you got reward for learning Torah. Unbelievable. Now this is a problem because, listen, people are different levels. What are you going to tell them? You came here, you spent the whole night, and you didn't get the reward for learning Torah. It's difficult. Don't worry. Here comes Zera Shimshon to the rescue. Here comes Zera Shimshon to the rescue. Don't worry. Look what he says. Further, it says the Gemara also, it says that's one of 6 things the Gemara lists there. There's 6 things the Gemara lists. What it says further, I think it's 6. I believe it's 6. The next thing it says, Igrad de chala du chaka. The reward of a chala is a word in Aramaic, says it's a special, Rashi explains there, it's a special drasha as well, that they will give before the regel, before a holiday, the halachot of the holiday. So the reward you get for going there, says Abaye in the Gemara there, Hu ala dochak, it's duchaka, meaning people are a lot of people show up, and it's really tense, no space, it's uncomfortable. So the fact that you put yourself in an uncomfortable position, you left your comfort zone, you came to hear halachot for the upcoming holiday, that's the reward you get. Rashi would explain the same way. Why? Because most people, they don't remember, they forget. For the holiday they remember, after the holiday is over, that's it. Next year I have to go again and review everything, I forgot everything. Right? That's what happens. Every year we review the halachot of every holiday. 101 times after review, right? Fine. And there's a few other things it says over there about what the main reward is. The kashit tuva, it's a big problem, says the Zera Shimshon. And all the Mefarshim on this Gemara, they forced themselves to explain, what's the point of this Gemara? What is it teaching us? Would you think for a second that a person who shows up to shiur to learn Torah is not going to get any reward of learning Torah? Rather, all he gets is the reward for running there, and that's it. It sounds like he's being duped over here. Also, the other lecture, the only reward he gets is being in an uncomfortable position, tight or in a tight, setting. Says Shimshon, rather, no. Rather, it's like this. The Hakamashman. Here's where it's coming to teach you. Shemikol hamitzvot kulan en adam ochel mehen ba'olam hazeh. We have a principle that all the mitzvot you perform in this world, there is no currency that can properly value the mitzvah to be paid out to you in this world. No cryptocurrency, no regular currency, no kind of currency can pay you what you deserve for doing God's will in this world. It doesn't exist here. In Olam Hazeh. It's saved for Olam Haba. It says in Masechet Kedushin straight out, the reward for mitzvot in this world, the true reward, does not exist. It's over there. Nevertheless, when you do the mitzvot beyond what you're expected to do, beyond, you put extra effort, like running to hear the shiur, like putting yourself in an uncomfortable position, taking yourself out of your comfort zone to hear and learn Torah. כגון לרוץ ולסבול ולשבת בדוחק ואף אותו הספדן להרים קול גדול. He also says the eulogizer, because the Gemara says over there in the same Gemara that says the main reward for eulogizing is the crying that you do. Why? Because again, it's an extra effort. He didn't have to cry so loud, because the point is he's trying to get other people aroused as well. For all these extra efforts, says Zera Shimshon, ייתן לו הקדוש ברוך הוא שכר אף בעולם הזה. Hashem will give you the reward in this world for those extra efforts, for the running, for the uncomfortable position that you get in this world. You get more, you get your expenses paid, so to speak, over here in this world. But the main principle is untouched, and that remains in Olam Haba for you.
With interest.
Of course. Why? Because based on what the Zera Shimshon is positing here, that Hashem owes you a thanks. He owes you something, just like in the Midrash, where the guy gave a handful of produce to the Kohen that wasn't Trumah, just as a gift. He owes him a great thanks. Same thing, when you give something extra for Hashem, you run to shul, you're uncomfortable, and you come anyway, it's going to be, whatever, it's going to be cold outside soon, you put yourself in a comfortable position. For those things, those little things add up for your reward in this world. Baruch Hashem. So with that, Rabotai, I think it's a good place to stop. It's a very powerful point that we have to understand and internalize, that no matter what you do, make every extra effort for Hashem. When it comes to our businesses, when it comes to our comfort, when it comes to vacation, we make sure, I want first class, no economy, I want the penthouse room, I want everything. But when it comes to performing mitzvot, sometimes we say, okay, I'll do it later. Don't give me the Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin. Give me just this one, just the regular, the Rashi, the one that's all scratched up. Give me the $50 etrog. What's the difference? I'm going to throw it out tomorrow anyway. No, put the effort, because for every effort that you do, it's never overlooked. Shabbat shalom.